What is up, guys? It is Ethan Ryder with Soccer for Us Kids, U.S Kids. I'm here. I'm back with the end of a very long international break. I've still been very bored with it. They've tried to make it a little less boring with the UEFA Nations League. I don't know if they've really done well. It's so complicated. I don't really know. It's been a little more exciting as the top teams have been facing each other, but besides that, it still seems like an international break, and it's not really as competitive as they think it would get. Maybe it'll get more competitive when they get to the final stages, and then at that point, the international breaks will seem a little more exciting. I'm going to try and do a video about the UEFA Nations League if I can. It's complicated. It's confusing. The problem right now is I don't even know if I get it. I'm going to have to do some research, and I'll get back to you guys on that one. But this video is for the review or the preview of Week 5 of the Premier League, as the Premier League is back. And it starts back with a bang. Liverpool versus Tottenham. Wembley Field, Saturday morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. At Wembley Field, Tottenham versus Liverpool. Perfect versus nearly perfect. This is going to be an exciting game. Liverpool are fighting to remain perfect, while Tottenham are fighting to get back into the race when they lost points to Watford last week. And so this is going to be a very, very interesting game. Two strong sides, two Premier League juggernauts facing each other at Wembley Field. I think Liverpool's going to win. I am a Liverpool fan. This may be a little biased, but I just think Liverpool are going to overwhelm them at times. I think Tottenham have looked very good, but I think they've looked a little questionable. They've looked squeaky here and there. They've looked like they have a little cobwebs they haven't quite shaken off yet. I don't think the international break will help them. I do think Liverpool are just going to take advantage of those mistakes. I think Watford did. They've been a strong side this season. They beat them 2-1. It is at Wembley. That's the one reason I'm thinking it could be a tie. Tottenham could squeak out a win. But I just think Liverpool are going to overwhelm them. I think, maybe not overwhelm them is the right word, but I do think Tottenham's been shaky. And I think if they are at any way shaky, Liverpool are going to take advantage. I think it could be even as big as a 4-1 win. That score might be the part of this that may be a little biased. But I just think if Liverpool do get on top of them, it could be game over. If Liverpool get on them early, game over. If the longer Tottenham can hold Liverpool without a goal, the more possible and more likely it is that they win. But if Liverpool get on them early, let's say they score in the first 10, 20 minutes, I think it's game over from there. With Alisson at the back, Van Dijk in the back, Liverpool have been so good at keeping goals, and that's my prediction for that game. The next game of the week will be Manchester City versus Fulham. Two pretty hot teams. Mitrovic's been scoring goals at will. He's been so good this season so far for Fulham. Manchester City looked very strong. The only time they shook up was against the Wolves, a 1-1 tie. It was a handball goal against them, so you can't really fault them. I think Man City will overwhelm Fulham. I think Fulham are very good, but they're not quite good enough to really challenge City in these type of games. I think City will come out 3-1 winners. The next game is Bournemouth versus Leicester City. I think these are two good teams. I think Leicester City, Vardy-less, have been a little bit not there. Vardy is definitely a big player for them, losing Vardy and Mahrez. Maddison is still getting acclimated to things. I think it's going to be a tie. I think they're both good teams, but I don't think either team's going to really come out on top. If one team was to come out on top, I'd have to pick Bournemouth. It's at their home, and they just look like a good team that could maybe come out on top, but I think it's going to be a tie. Newcastle versus Arsenal. I think Arsenal is going to come away with the win. This is risky. Newcastle have looked pretty good. They looked pretty good against Man City, only allowing them to score 2. They only lost 2-1 to them. Rondon's looking like a good acquisition for them. They need to score goals, though. I think Arsenal are really starting to gain their ground under their Emery. A Lacazette-Aubameyang partnership could be absolutely deadly if they both can start scoring goals. With Ozil feeding them balls behind them, they're looking to start to be pretty deadly. The next game is Huddersfield versus Palace. This is an interesting game for me. I think if Zaha plays, Crystal Palace comes out on top. Huddersfield's definitely struggling this season. They're not really scoring goals. They're not really defending well. They're just not looking very good. So I think if Zaha plays for Palace, he's just going to break down that Huddersfield team, and they're going to end up getting that 2-0 type of win. If Zaha doesn't play, could be any story. They could tie. They could lose to Huddersfield. I think it's more likely a tie with Huddersfield really struggling to get those goals. But I do think if Zaha plays, Crystal Palace will come in on top. Chelsea versus Cardiff. Cardiff looked a lot better against Arsenal last week. I don't think they're strong enough. I think Chelsea's going to come away with a pretty comfortable win. They're looking better than everyone expected. But I do think even though I think they're going to come out as a win, I think it is possible that they could end up tying or even losing to Cardiff because they have looked a little shaky, but I don't think Cardiff is a team that's going to challenge them. Watford versus Man U. Watford's been so strong this season. They're perfect. I think they're just raring to go. I think Man U's the absolute opposite with Jose Mourinho really just not giving the vibe that they need. There's just such a negative vibe around that club right now. I think Watford's going to come away comfortable winners. They just are too strong right now. They're really perfect this season. They're going to be raring to go to keep that perfect record. They're at home. Man U, I think, is going to struggle, and I think Watford comes away with a comfortable win, 2-0, 3-0 type scoreline. Wolves play Burnley. Burnley has struggled this season. They do not look like the team that made the Europa League cut last season. Wolves have been pretty good. I think Wolves will come away with a 1-0, 2-0 win. I think the Wolves have looked very good with likes of Ruben Neves, Adama Traore, Holta. They're all looking like a good team. Rui Patricio in the sticks, and I think it's just going to be a good game for Wolves. I think they're going to come out on top 2-0. Everton versus West Ham. I think Everton have not looked the same team without Richarlison, so depending on whether Bernard and Walcott and Tosin can step up, I think they're going to end up tying this game. I think West Ham are going to get their first points. West Ham have looked very strong. They've just gotten a little unlucky in their game, so I think this will finally be maybe the turning point, but definitely the time that they get their first points in a 1-1 tie with Everton. The last game of the weekend will be on Monday, Southampton versus Brighton. Southampton have been a strong team this season, as have Brighton. Southampton look good with Danny Ings and Brighton's Glenn Murray. Two strikers going head-to-head. I think it's going to be a tie, 1-1, 2-2 scoreline. It'll be interesting to see how that one pans out. Thank you guys for watching. This is the Week 5 preview. I hope you guys watch the games. I will see you guys next time on Soccer for Us Kids.